In this lesson, we'll begin building our detail view, and specifically we'll focus on creating its UI. So I'm in the storyboard, and I want to add a new scene. So I'll create a scene based on a view controller. I'll drag and drop this into view. Now let's create a push segue. So I'll control and drag from the cell. Zoom in so I can do that. I'll drag over to our view controller and select push. All right, that looks good. Now let me go over to music list view controller. And I know this method can go away altogether, so I'll simply delete that from our code. But let's run the app and just see if this segue is working as we expect. See, we have a little chevron on the right-hand side, and this tells us that we've got some additional place to navigate to. So not a very exciting UI at this point, but of course this is working, so that's very nice. All right, let's go back into the storyboard. And let's build out this UI. So I want to create a UI image view and add one of these. I want it to be quite that big. Let's shrink that down. And I think specifically I will make this 80 by 80. That looks pretty good. And we'll position that about there. And then I'm going to add a whole bunch of labels. So I'll add one for the album name. And resize that just a tad. Add one for the artist. I'll position that down just a little bit further. And I'll create a few down here as well. So I'll call this one genre. Let me duplicate that. And we'll call this one price. And duplicate that again. And we'll call this released. And just so we remember what this is supposed to be, we'll put album name up here. Artist name here. And then let's drag a few individual labels for the specific values. And then we'll put a date value down here. All right, so our labels look pretty good. And let's add a couple buttons on here as well. Position these down at the bottom of the screen. And I will call this one Save to List. Slide that over a little bit. I'll duplicate it, Command D to duplicate. And we'll call this one Open in iTunes. Let's make both of these buttons the same, both 133 points wide. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's also give this a title. I'll double click in this area and just type in album detail. All right, so let's run the app once again. All right, that looks pretty good. We, of course, don't have any real data in here at this point, but the basic UI looks pretty good. Maybe one thing we could change is change the background color. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about the white color. So I'll go adjust the attributes for that. So it's currently set to white. Let's maybe set it to a lighter gray color. Mercury, yeah, love it. That looks a little better. All right, so our UI is complete and I think it looks pretty good. And in the next lesson, we'll create the scene's associated view controller.